Wait, BTS just made a move no one saw coming. Global superstars BTS have officially decided not to submit their music for Grammy nominations this year, and the timing has everyone talking. It's a bold statement, and fans are already debating what it really means for the industry. Is this a quiet protest or something bigger? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates, because this story just got interesting. Let's find out. Global superstars BTS just made a surprising move, and they didn't keep it quiet either. Through their personal Instagram accounts, the members revealed that they've decided not to submit their music for Grammy consideration this year. Yep, no nominations campaign, no push for the awards. And the timing? That's what makes it even more interesting. This announcement came just about a month after the Recording Academy introduced a brand new category, the Asian Pop Performance Award, for the upcoming Grammy cycle. A move that on paper seemed like it would finally give more recognition to artists from the region. But BTS clearly had a different perspective. All 7 members, RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook, posted the exact same message on their Instagram stories on Wednesday, making their stance crystal clear. And the message itself? Simple, but powerful. They basically expressed that they want their music to be appreciated for what it is, not separated or categorized based on region or language. In other words, they'd rather be heard as artists, not boxed into a label. They also took a moment to thank ARMY and everyone who continues to support them, keeping that connection with fans at the center of it all. Now, naturally, this sparked a lot of reactions. Some fans see this as a bold statement, like BTS subtly pushing back against being placed in a separate category instead of being fully recognized across the main ones. Others think it's more about artistic integrity and how they want their work to be experienced globally without limitations. Either way, it's a pretty significant decision because BTS aren't just any group. They've been one of the biggest global forces in music for years, and their presence or absence at something like the Grammys always makes an impact. Because, let's be real, BTS weren't just eligible for Grammys this year, they were dominating. Their latest comeback album, Arirang, didn't just perform well, it completely took over. From the moment it dropped in March, it started breaking records left and right, quickly becoming one of the biggest releases of the year. We're talking #1 debuts across the board: the Billboard 200, South Korea's Circle Chart, Japan's Oricon, Germany's Album Chart, even the UK Official Albums Chart. Basically, wherever you looked, Arirang was sitting at the top. And then there's the title track. Swim didn't just chart, it made history. It became BTS's 7th #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, which is honestly wild when you think about the consistency. And it didn't stop there. Almost every track on the album ended up charting on the Hot 100 too, except for number 29. So naturally, with numbers like that, industry experts were already calling Arirang a strong contender for major Grammy categories, especially something as big as Album of the Year, which is exactly why what happened next caught everyone off guard. Despite all that success, all that momentum, and all the predictions, BTS chose not to submit Arirang at all. Not for Album of the Year, not for any category, nothing. Because this wasn't a case of maybe they wouldn't get nominated. This was an album that absolutely had a shot, and they still stepped back. It turns the whole situation from just a career move into something that feels a lot more intentional, like a statement. BTS have been nominated for the Grammys multiple times, 5 nominations across 3 different years, and yet, somehow, they've never taken home the win. It all started in 2021, when their global smash hit, Dynamite, earned them a nomination for Best Pop Duo/Group Performance. It was a huge moment, their first ever Grammy nod, and fans everywhere were watching. But the award ultimately went to Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande for Rain on Me. Then came 2022. BTS were back in the exact same category with Butter, another massive hit that dominated charts worldwide. Once again, expectations were high, and once again, the win slipped through. And it didn't stop there. In 2023, they were nominated yet again, this time for My Universe, their collaboration with Coldplay. Different song, same category, same outcome. 3 years in a row, multiple nominations, still no trophy. So, when you look at the pattern, their latest decision starts to feel a lot less random and a lot more intentional. Because at some point, it's not just about being nominated anymore. It's about how artists feel they're being recognized. And maybe, just maybe, BTS decided they didn't want to keep playing that game. And honestly, when you look at the full picture, BTS stepping away from the Grammys starts to feel less like a shock and more like the closing of a long, complicated chapter. Because it wasn't just those earlier nominations. In 2023, BTS were also nominated for Best Music Video with Yet to Come, The Most Beautiful Moment, and even recognized as featured artists on Coldplay's Music of the Spheres for Best Album. So, it's not like the Recording Academy ignored them completely. They were there, consistently. And let's not forget, they didn't just attend, they performed. BTS hit the Grammy stage 3 separate times, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Each performance bigger than the last. These weren't small appearances either, they were full-on, global spotlight moments that proved they belonged on that stage just as much as anyone else. And for a long time, that stage actually meant something deeply personal to them. Back in 2020, Suga openly said in an interview that the Grammys were a dream, something he grew up watching, something every artist in music recognizes as a major goal. Around the same time, RM talked about how chasing that award pushed them to work even harder, because to them, it represented the highest level of recognition. So yeah, this wasn't just another award show to them. It mattered. But here's where things shift. As the years went on, BTS didn't just stay successful, they exploded. Record-breaking albums, global tours, cultural impact that went way beyond music. They reached a level where they weren't just a part of the industry, they were reshaping it. Over the course of their career, they've racked up 500 plus awards across the world. At that point, the question kind of changes from, do they need the Grammys, to what does the Grammys even mean to them now? It almost feels like BTS reached a point where they didn't need validation anymore. Not from that stage. Not from that system. They've already proven their impact to the industry, to the charts, and most importantly, to the fans who've been with them through every step. So, maybe this isn't about rejection. Maybe it's about choosing their own definition of success. And honestly, that might be the loudest statement of all. And this isn't the first time artists have had an issue with that kind of labeling. Back in 2020, Tyler, the Creator, spoke out after winning Best Rap Album. While he appreciated the award, he also criticized how artists get boxed into categories like urban, calling it a coded way of limiting how Black artists are recognized. He made it clear he didn't want to be put in a box. He wanted to be seen simply as an artist. And then you've got Bad Bunny. He built his career largely within the Latin music space, winning multiple Latin Grammys, but then made history at the main Grammys by winning Album of the Year with a fully Spanish language album. The moment was huge because it proved that language doesn't have to be a barrier in the top categories. So naturally, people were expecting BTS to follow a similar path. With their global dominance, record-breaking numbers, and massive cultural impact, it felt like they were next in line to break that ceiling, to win big, not in a separate category, but right at the top. And of course, the Recording Academy wasn't going to stay quiet about all this. After BTS made their decision not to submit, Grammy CEO Harvey Mason Jr. stepped in with an official statement. And honestly, it adds another layer to the whole conversation. According to Mason, the intention behind creating it wasn't to separate or sideline artists. It was actually meant to highlight and celebrate the growth and diversity of pop music coming out of Asia. In his words, the goal was to shine a dedicated spotlight on artists who are shaping the global music scene in a major way. Adding more categories, he explained, is supposed to mean more artists get recognized, not fewer. And it's not about dividing music into boxes. It's about expanding who gets seen and acknowledged by the Academy's voting body. But here's the key clarification he made, and this is where things get interesting. He pointed out that the new category doesn't block artists from competing in the main categories. So, technically, artists can still submit for the general field awards like Record of the Year, Album of the Year, and Song of the Year at the same time. And Mason really leaned into that idea, saying the Grammys are meant to serve all music and all creators, regardless of language or geography. He also added that the Academy is continuing to expand globally and is actively listening to the international music community as it evolves. But when you line that up with BTS's decision, you can see why the conversation isn't that simple. Because even if the intention is to expand recognition, the way it's perceived, especially by the artists who've already been trying to break into those top categories for years, can feel very different. And that's kind of where things stand right now. One side is like, we're opening more doors. The other side is quietly going, we're good, just not that door. And honestly, the tension right there is what's turning this into such a huge conversation. So, what do you think? Progress or a step sideways? Drop your take in the comments, smash that like, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into moments like this.